Hey people, welcome to the fourth and last part of this special on talent. We want to look at the Master Coach today. And this is very important for everyone who wants to help other people develop highest abilities in one certain field, not just for music teachers. But before we go right into it, I want to address two arguments. The first one is that you don't have to explain everything because you can't explain everything. Of course, you don't have to explain everything, but I enjoy it. I like to look behind the scenes and look at the hidden mechanisms to better understand them and to draw my conclusions from it and to use this model. Because for me as a teacher, learning about talent development and the mechanisms behind it is very important because I can become a better teacher if I know more about this. The second argument is that of, I just can't believe that it's so simple. There are just people who have a gift from God like a Hendrix or a Mozart. Mozart, by the way, is a great example. By now we know pretty well how he developed his talent, but I want to address this because it's a fundamental thing. People who say they don't believe in this theory of talent development, that's for me like people say, I just can't believe in the theory of evolution. I can't believe that a fish just grew legs and began walking on land. Well, it didn't. Just because you don't understand it, that doesn't make it not true. The great thing about this theory of talent development as well as the Darwinian theory of evolution is that they both are elegant. They are not simple, but they are very, very conclusive. It takes some time to get into it and to really understand it. But then you can see that this model fits what we see in the world perfectly. Because we have to differentiate between the subject and the theory. You can't believe in the theory of evolution. That's nonsense. You can't believe in the theory. Because the theory explains what is there. And this model I told you about in this series of videos is at this point in time the best we have. It's by now the best model to explain talent development, just as the Darwinian theory of evolution that has been improved on over decades, many decades, is the best explanation we have so far in explaining what happens out there in nature. Because everything is explainable. We don't have the perfect theory, the perfect explanation yet, but it is explainable. And the one thing that many people call a weakness is actually a strength. Many people say, the opinion of the scientist changes every few years. Yes, of course, and it should, because that is the strength of scientific research. Being open to change your view according to the new data. If you have newfound evidence, you correct your view, you correct the theory to make it even better, to improve it. That's what science is all about. Because only this way we can improve, get better, and optimize what we have so far. So if you have better evidence on talent development, if you have new research, please tell me about it. I'm always open to change my view if I am confronted with evidence. But for now, as I told you, this what we have right here, right now, what I'm explaining to you is the best model we have so far. So let's get right into the fourth part about the Master Coach. If the student is ignited and motivated, she now has to learn and practice properly. That means she has to go into the deep practice zone more often and longer. Of course, this has to be guided first by a good teacher, a guru, someone who went through everything her students have to go through herself, and who at the same time knows how the learning works. This is a master coach. Master coaches are usually masters themselves in the specific subject they are teaching, but not always. For a good musician does not necessarily make a good teacher. Teaching can be learned and practiced like everything else, and master coaches make it an art. That said, Watch this video again later and see everything about talent development now from the point of view of your personal development as a teacher. Master coaches are not the flamboyant coaches who make great speeches, but Daniel Coyle calls them talent whisperers. Master coaches are highly attentive, observe very closely and, if necessary, give short, clear, targeted instructions. These can be implemented quickly and thus the nerve cells receive exactly the right signals and form the right connections. These instructions are often demonstrated memorably and phrased catchy. Remember, people rather judge statements to be true if they rhyme, and the more silly a metaphor, the better it can be remembered. I took this insight from Daniel Kahneman's great book, Thinking Fast and Slow. A master coach is characterized by good preparation. He always has a plan for the lesson and in small units brings the student to the next step that is just connected so that there is no stagnation. A master coach gets completely involved with the students and puts herself in his shoes. She does not just dictate what an exercise has to be like, but she really lives it and feels it and rejoices with the student as if she had overcome the obstacle herself. Through her whole appearance, she embodies learning. So, master coaches do not just preach from the pulpit, but they do everything shoulder to shoulder, often literally, with their student. According to Daniel Coyle, they are not like captains who just give instructions but don't get their hands dirty themselves, but rather like gardeners who, with a good plan and experiences, wisely cultivate the skills over time. There is less praise than with a love coach because the master coach is there to guide the deep practice. So the feedback is focused on mistakes and therefore very efficient. A master coach, and a love coach hopefully too, above all praises the effort and not the ability. This is much more personal and speaks more deeply to the feelings. In all talent hotbeds, efforts are more valued than skills. This sustains the motivation because very capable people often doubt themselves. However, those who put in more effort will be praised more and get better at the same time, thus boosting their self-confidence. Daniel Coyle writes, "Skill building equals confidence building." The master coach is often not the same person as the love coach, but of course it is possible that you are developing together with the students. As they become more and more ignited and have found their calling, you continue to push the controller from the love coach to the master coach with these students to help them develop the highest levels of abilities. And this way you can put your students in the fast lane in learning. And with this support, they will develop high skills over time and also, of course, develop their personality. Hey, I'm so glad you're still here. I hope you liked this series. If you want to watch the whole special in one sitting, you can, because I uploaded the whole video without interruptions. You can find the link in the description below. There is also some bonus material in there, like some tips for teachers and book recommendations. And if you want to learn more about the psychology of learning, learning methods, time management, motivation and so on, you can visit my workshops if there is a date somewhere near you. Check out my homepage for the current dates. But I will always see you in the next video.